And now we will get things going to our first coach of the day. And we start things off in Huntsville, Alabama. And James Spady and the Bulldogs, they had the previous week off, and they are all set now to face the Alabama State Hornets on ESPN3 at 2:30 in the annual Magic City Classic.
Conference recording started.
We welcome along first James Spady of Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Joshua. A week off, not so much, man. We had to put some work in this week.
Well, tell us all about it, Coach, and let's also preview Alabama State.
Yeah, we spent the open week getting better, getting well again. This time of year, it's mid-season, and you've been colliding with folks all season, and so we got guys with aches and pains and bumps and bruises, and then to have an open week before one of your biggest games of the year is really a blessing. We were able to give the guys some time away. We were able to work on some fundamental things, try to get ourselves better prepared to face Alabama State. And so it's great to have that. The kids don't like it, to practice and not have something to play for at the end of the week. I get it. That's a little tedious for them. But as a coach, I tell you what, I couldn't live without that open week, man. And so it was really good.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. The floor is now open for James Spady, head coach at Alabama A&M.
Coach Spady, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you, Luke?
Okay. I know this is your second go-round, I guess, in the Magic City Classic. What did you know about it before you got to Alabama A&M, and how is it compared to other rivalries that you've seen?
That's an awesome question. I knew about the Magic City Classic for years, just simply growing up as a SWAC family. You know about SWAC things. You just those are your yearly kind of experiences, and so I knew about it. I had never attended one, had never participated in one as a player or a coach. But, you certainly know the reputation of such a big game. And then having had an opportunity to experience it last year, it was way beyond my wildest imagination. It was festivus. I mean, there was a lot of hoopla around the game. The game itself was, pretty much unbelievable simply because we won it, I guess. It made it a much better experience last year. But it certainly has lived up to its billing. It's the biggest and the best, and it's an honor to be a part of it.
Do you figure your team is on the upswing right now headed into this game?
Your mouth to God's ears. I certainly hope so, Luke. We, it's been an interesting season in that, we started the season out, somewhat overmatched and never got an opportunity to get our footing and get a feel for, what we could and couldn't do and that kind of thing. And I don't want to sound like I'm whining, because I certainly am not. You have to play on Saturdays in the fall, and so that's really all that matters. But at the same time, man, I hope that this football team is starting to assert itself. I hope that we're starting to understand what we've been coaching, on a daily basis, and hopefully we can, put together some sort of run. It's one game at a time. Our goal is to be 1-0 every week, and so we certainly want to start the run with being 1-0. That's for sure.
Still taking questions for James Spady, head coach at Alabama A&M.
Coming off the win over Jackson State, Coach, what were the things that you did well?
Not a lot, honestly. I do say that our football team played well in that they continued to compete from start to finish. There was never any letdown in the energy. There was never any letdown in the competition aspects. That's got to count for something. We talk every week or every day about outplaying your opponent. You can neutralize the advantage that guy has over you if he's a better player by outplaying him. Just play one tick longer than him on the clock, one play longer than him in the course of the game, and that's what I think is a huge positive for this football team. They continue to do that. They've gotten that message, and we're going to keep going forward because that's what you can build on. That's the one thing that no matter what goes wrong, offensively, defensively, or special teams, if you believe you can outplay the guy across from you, then do so.
A win keeps you in the running for the East Division crown, Coach. What do you think, and how much do you talk to your team about postseason honors and staying alive for that kind of thing?
I haven't said, and I haven't even uttered a syllable regarding down the road. Honestly, if we don't focus on the game in front of us, it won't matter 2-3 weeks down the road. So we haven't uttered a syllable about what's at stake, about anything. We talk about being 1-0 this week, and that's really what matters. Now, there's some other things that are going on this week. This is the Magic City Classic. Make no mistake about it. It's the biggest game on our schedule. And, so that, trying to keep them reined in just from dealing with those things, those aspects is, it's enough of a job in itself. So, no, we hadn't talked about implications going forward. We just want to be 1-0.
Well, if you look back, Coach, I mean, you were right there against a Prairie View team that's knocked off Southern. I don't know if you considered if the score indicates how close you were to Grambling. What's your feeling going in terms of the ceiling for this team?
I don't know, because every game is individual. Every game is different. The conditions were different at Prairie View than they were at Grambling, than they were at, Pine Bluff, than they were at Jackson. The conditions are different. They'll be different Saturday than they will be the next Saturday, and so on down the line. So I don't know. I don't have a legitimate answer for that. I just understand that you're only as good as the next play. And so what we've got to do is we got to concentrate on play number one, and then when play number one's over, you got to regroup and play number two. And so that's what we concentrate. I'm not trying to give you coach speak. I'm telling you that that's absolutely the focus.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much.
Got a couple of minutes left in the segment with James Spady still taking your questions.
I'll ask another one, Coach. Can we talk about the availability of D'Angelo?
He's full go. He's ready to play.
And given that, is it a game time decision, or are you going in with one or the other to starter?
No. Tootie is our starter. He'll play. He'll start the game and he'll play the game as long as he's doing okay. One of the things that I think I'm being maligned to a certain extent. Playing two quarterbacks, and it's not some sort of system. It is just that, in my observation, sometimes your number one quarterback can take a step back and see the game being played, see the game kind of progress while he's watching, and that can be effective for him, as the guy that continues to manage the game for you. So in the past, that's what we've done. It also serves the purpose of giving my number two quarterback an opportunity to, play meaningful snaps, so that if something happened, God forbid, and he were called on to be our starter, that person then has quality reps under his belt. And so we've gone with that strategy all along, and we'll go with that strategy again Saturday. Tootie will start. Damian will play. And we'll go forward as the game kind of pans itself out, if you will.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, thank you very much. We're out of time. Good luck to you guys this coming Saturday in the Magic City Classic.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you. Head coach of Alabama A&M, James Spady. Next up on the call, we stay in the state of Alabama, and it's Alabama State University.
Conference recording started.
Again, same thing. The Alabama State, the University Hornets will face Alabama A&M, Magic City Classic, 2:30 kickoff on ESPN3 is where the game can be seen live. Good morning, Coach Brian Jenkins. How are you? Do we have Coach Jenkins with us?
I tried to hold the voice on earlier.
Okay, we will await the arrival of Brian Jenkins at Alabama State. Please stand by.
Hey, is he ready? On the noise down.
Just heard someone chime in. Do we have Brian Jenkins on the call?
No, this is Coach Hopson.
Coach, thank you. While you're on, let's go ahead and skip ahead. We will now switch gears.
Conference recording stopped.
And while we await for the arrival of Brian Jenkins, we will skip ahead one call and start things with Jay Hopson.
Conference recording started.
Coach Hopson, thank you very much for joining us. You guys had a idle week, and you're all set to face Southern at 4 p.m. this Saturday. Let's talk about this previous week and preview the Jaguars, Coach.
Well, it was certainly, we know, always Southern's an excellent football team, so that goes without saying. We had a good week. Basically got some preparation time in and did a little fundamental stuff. Probably did more fundamental stuff on the first weekend, but just kind of approached last week as a normal game week because we've got a unique schedule. You know, we've had 2 bye weeks in the last three weeks, so we just thought it was better just to keep us on track and have a game week type practice.
All right, the floor is now open for Alcorn State head coach Jay Hopson.
Hey, Coach. This is Antonio from the Clarion Ledger.
Hey, Antonio.
You're 4-0 against Southern at Alcorn. Just what's been the keys to your success in those games?
Well, I mean, all that stuff. Each week and each game is a different battle. I don't think that really has anything to do with anything. I mean, you know, it's we certainly there have been a couple hard-fought battles, and we lost one last week, and we've had a couple that we were fortunate enough to get Southern to win. And but I think each week, Antonio is a new week, but we know we've got to prepare and play hard in order to win.
And you guys haven't lost back-to-back games since your first season on campus. Just what are the points of emphasis in order to help avoid losing 2 in a row?
Well, I think you just get ready each week. Like I said, we count the poker chips up at the end of the season. But you don't even really, it's something that each week is a different week, and that's just the reality of it, and you got to prepare each week. I mean, we know it's a tough conference, and certainly we lost a heartbreaker 2 weeks ago, but hey, you got to prepare and bounce back, and that's what good football teams do.
Coach Hopson, this is James Verrett from Cox Sports Television. We'll be broadcasting your game this weekend. How you doing?
Hey, James. How you doing?
Doing fine. How important is this game to recruiting, particularly because of the proximity of the two institutions?
Well, I think they're all big. I mean, there's no question. Certainly, it's always a fun, big game. I mean, it's that's one of the fortunate things that we have at Alcorn. We've got a lot of close natural rivals, so what happens is you get some big crowds and big games. But it's just always is a fun game for players, coaches, and it's what makes college football fun. And I think that's why as a young man you want to play college football and play in the environments that the Alcorn and Southern game provide.
Have you in your, when you do recruit young men, have any of them been swayed in the past with your recent success against Southern?
I don't think, I don't really think that's, I think young men kind of look at the body of work or the program as a whole. I don't know if one game, sways a young man's opinion. I think as far as the parents and the young men's concerned, I think they look at the program and the coaches and the players and the schools. They look at all those things, and and each young man's different, and parents are different. They have to find the right fit for them. So sometimes I think it might be a little bit. I don't know really what the word I'm looking for is, but I don't know if it certainly helps to win. It doesn't matter who you play in, but I don't think one game, at times if a young man's just deciding between two, it might have some bearing, but I don't think one game has a whole lot of influence on I think the whole body of work is probably what's more important to them.
Coach, this week, how much did you harp on ball security?
We've talked about it a lot. I mean, it's certainly no big secret. We turned the ball over 4 times, and certainly had some inopportune times last week. And that's one thing we talked about. You're not going to beat a team like Grambling that you give them the ball 4 times. And certainly, it's something that we can ill afford to do. We got to end that and not do it the rest of the season.
Okay.
Does a game like Georgia Tech, does that help you prepare for an environment like the one you're going to Halloween in Baton Rouge?
I think all those games help. And the one we had at Grambling was a super environment. That was there was probably 30,000 here, and then plus by another 15,000 tailgating. At 20,000, it was a big crowd. I think we're fortunate to play in some of those environments. I think our players are used to that type of environment, which is, they played in it. We have a pretty old team. I think we're pretty experienced, so hopefully that won't be, much of a deal.
Coach Hopson, how impressed are you by Southern's special teams, particularly their kick return game?
Well, Willie Quinn is just dynamic, he's certainly, if there's a better kick returner, in the country, I need to see it on film because he is a explosive football player that finds the end zone an awful lot. And we've played against Southern, every year, so we know what type of player he is. But their special teams units have been tremendous.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us this week. We appreciate your time. Good luck to you this coming Saturday.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot.
Conference recording stopped.
That's Alcorn State head coach Jay Hopson, whose team will face Southern University for a kickoff that is slated for 4 p.m. We'll circle back around now and head back to Montgomery, Alabama, and talk things over with Alabama State head coach Brian Jenkins, whose team is all set to face Alabama A&M 2:30 on the Magic City Classic, ESPN3 broadcast.
Conference recording started.
Good morning, Coach Jenkins.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. Let's please give us a recap of your bye week and preview your first Magic City Classic, if you will.
Well, our bye week was I think, successful. You know, spent a lot of time evaluating ourselves as coaches and the different things that we were doing, and wanted to make sure we were doing the necessary things to put our players in the position to be successful. Gave us a chance to really get back, like I said, to the football fundamentals, because that's important. And those are some things that we haven't done well early in the season, and some things that we need to get better at. You know, as far as the Magic City Classic, it is what it is. You know, everybody's excited. You got two teams that are rivals that have a lot of history. You know, this thing is big. You know, everybody is excited about the game. You know, I'm excited about it. But you know, my philosophy and mindset is we look at every game the same, and we're going to prepare for every game the same. And you know, but we know what's on the line. We know the fans and the alumni and the boosters and everybody. You know what the Magic City Classic means to them. So, you know, we'll be ready, and hopefully we'll be mentally strong enough and physically prepared to hopefully compete in this game. We're going to go against, I think, a tough football team, and I know Spady. You know, he's going to have his team ready. And so just hopefully we'll be able to line up and hopefully play with these guys come this Saturday.
Thank you very much, Coach. The floor is now open for Brian Jenkins, head coach at Alabama State. Coach, what do you see as the focal point or the biggest difficulty with keeping the team grounded and an even keel with so much height leading into a game such as the Magic City Classic?
Well, the number one thing is you know, you don't want the team to look too far ahead to the contest and forget about doing the work to prepare for the contest. You know, preparation is the key. You know, preparation has you, puts you in a position to be ready for any opportunity that may present themselves. So you want to make sure that your team stays focused on the preparation process and, you know, and don't look too far ahead. So you want to make sure that you continue to repeat certain things to them, continue to remind them of the things that need to be done, continue to try to keep them grounded, and just make sure that you and your coaching staff are planning practices in order for your team to be successful and get the things done that you need to get done. I think you got to, find a way to get your team to not forget about, but somehow put to the side that they're playing in the Magic City Classic and have them focus on certain goals at hand. You know, and if you can do that in order to get things, you know, prepared, then, you know, I think that'll help you, you know, keep your team grounded and not look too far ahead. But any coach knows that's hard to do when you're getting ready to play on a star-studded stage and a star-studded event like the Magic City Classic.
Still taking questions for Alabama State head coach Brian Jenkins. Coach, your team has won the last 3 out of 4 contests. Would you say your team is peaking at this point in the season, or how would you assess things right now overall?
I think we're just improving. You know, we're a team that's a work in progress, which I said earlier. I think we've gotten better at some things, and we're starting to figure out a little bit of what we can do and what we can't do. And, you know, that was a tough stretch that we had, 4 games in 18 days. That'll be tough on any ball club. But I think out of it, our kids, you know, developed a mental toughness. And I just think they're trying, you know, they're finding a way to understand the preparation process and how important mental toughness is. And you just can't line up and play the game. So I think those things that are true factors are the things that have allowed us to improve as a football team, which in hand has put us in a position to play a more complete ball game, which, you know, has caused us to come away with a couple victories.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll check the journal and see. I'm pretty sure it's getting in.
Coach, on the defensive side of the ball, you know, folks are aware about Courtney Berry and his ability. Offensive side of the ball, you know, those are aware about Thomas at your running back positions. Any other bright spots or surprises at this point in the season for people that have stepped up for you?
Well, I think that one spot that's been a bright spot has been Trevor, our punter, you know, young kid that has come in and run the punting duties. He's done a phenomenal job at you know, changing the field position. I think he's done good. You know, Alex Anderson, the freshman.
Looks like, guys, we got disconnected by Coach Jenkins. I think his call may have dropped there. We will migrate to the next call here shortly. Please stand by.
Conference recording stopped.
And we've got Arkansas at Pine Bluff next. University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff fell to Jackson State this past Saturday, and they're set to play at Prairie View for a 1 p.m. kickoff this coming Saturday.
Conference recording started.
And we will now welcome along to the call here on Monday with Monte Coleman, head coach at UAPB. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about this past Saturday and preview your road trip to Prairie View.
Well, you know, I'm starting to sound like a broken record. We didn't play well at all Saturday. Jackson State, not to take anything away from them, they came out ready. It was their homecoming. They were fired up. They started fast, and they finished. We never really got started. Started off pretty well on defense. Couldn't get any points generated on offense. So it wasn't a very good football game for us. I take my hat off to the coaches there at Jackson State and their players. They came out and they were ready to play. For whatever reason, we just didn't play. Didn't make plays. We didn't make plays. We'll travel this weekend and go play Prairie View. We'll start working again today, and getting ready for our road trip down to Houston to play Prairie View. Should be a good football game. By no means from this past game or for our season that we're giving up. We're going to play hard every single ball game. We had a lot of guys to play hard. You know, one of the misfortunes for us right now, we're very young at quarterback, and we're just trying to find that magic at the quarterback position so that we can generate some points and do just a little bit better job, and hopefully win in football games. But should be a good game against Prairie View this weekend. And I think they were off this past weekend, and that's what we're focusing on, one game at a time for the next 4 weeks.
Floor is now open for Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas and Pine Bluff. Coach, if you could talk a little bit about the quarterback that served in the backup role for Jackson State in his play.
He came in and he managed the game. You got to take your hat off to him. I don't think they try to do anything spectacular with him other than let him manage the football game, and he did a great job doing that. He was very poised in the pocket. We tried blitzing him, and he was poised. He threw some good balls when he found guys open. When we had busted coverages, he hit them. So he managed the football game for him very well.
Coach, what would you say was the most disappointing phase of the game Saturday in this defeat?
For us, the most disappointing was definitely not putting points on the board. That's one of the things we do. We didn't rush the football like we did the week before. That was disappointing. We gave up big plays on defense. That was very disappointing. Being a defensive coach, when we think we've got something going, all of a sudden then they get a big play. And there were times we called blitzes where all gaps should have been taken care of, and they hit us with like a 40-some-yard rush for a touchdown. Very disappointing, but the overall, when you go back and you assess the games, the most disappointing thing is just the losing. We're trying to get over this hump right now with a very young football team to get that one win right now in the SWAC. And so it's disappointing to lose right now. Now, by no means am I blaming any facet of the game, the special teams, offense or defense. It's been a collective loss for us. We have breakdowns on defense. We've gotten breakdowns on offense. We've also had breakdowns on special teams. So it's the youth of the situation that we're struggling with right now. But overall, we're just tired of losing, and we're going to do everything in our power this weekend to get us a victory against Prairie View.
Arkansas Pine Bluff head coach Monte Coleman joining us here. Still time to take questions in this segment. So, Coach, what is your approach when you're sitting with the record that you currently have, or what changes? What do you do differently going forward, Coach?
Don't do anything different, for that matter. The thing that we try to do is we got to just try to perfect some of the things that we're doing. Well, and let me back up. Simplify it just a little bit more, maybe. As much as we can, go back and try to just simplify it for the young guys so they don't make the mistakes once they do get on the field. But other than that, I mean, we're gonna continue to fight. The guys, we got lots of guys that's giving great effort. I mean, giving real good effort, and continue to let the guys know that we still got 4 weeks. The chances of making the championship game, we probably won't make it, but to win 4 games is always a possibility. So the thing that we've got to do as coaches is we're not going to tuck our tails or drop our heads. We're going to continue to coach with the vigor that we've had from the very beginning, just for 1 game, and that's going to be this Prairie View game. And then after that, of course, Southern, then Grambling, then Mississippi Valley. So we're going to take it 1 game at a time and just simplify it maybe just a little bit so we can get a little more effort out of them. We're getting the effort so we don't get as many mistakes out of them. Guys are putting out great effort for us, just having a couple little breakdowns here and there.
Coach, your thought on Prairie View's improvement this year as you look at this team and Coach Willie Simmons in his first season?
Hadn't had a lot of time to really look at them, But they have improved. I thought they were a very good football team last year. A lot of good football players on that football team. Coach being a new coach, he's doing an outstanding job right now. Got those guys rolling. And, been their week off. They got 2 weeks to prepare for us. So, we're going to have our hands cut out for us again this weekend. But our work cut out for us this weekend, I should say. But we're going to make it a good football game. We're not going down there to lose. We're going down there to win. And that's going to be our approach. We're going to win the football game.
But in terms of film preparation, though, you said you haven't had time to look, knowing where Prairie View's coach previously served as an offensive coordinator. Is it normal to pull film from a previous stop for a coach when preparing for the current team that he's actively working for right now?
Yes, and we will do that. We know he came from Alcorn. He was under Coach Hopson, and we will watch some from last year, but we'll concentrate basically on what they've been doing this year. When you do leave and you've had success, you bring some of your stuff, but you also want to make your own identity. When you get your head coaching job, so I'm sure that coach is trying to build his own personality with his team, but I'm sure he brought some things over that was successful with him from Alcorn.
Talk a little bit about their specialist and running back, Jonte Hebert, and what does he remind you of? What does he bring to the table for them?
He's frightening. He's got speed. He's got quickness. He's got great eyes. He's a complete. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. I was hoping that he was a senior and we wouldn't play against him, but we got him one more year, I believe. But the young man is outstanding. I've been impressed with him. He's the kind of player that when you go out recruiting, in the back of your mind, you say you want to find one like that. That's the kind of label that you put on him. So the kid he's an all-around good athlete.
Do we have any more questions for Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff? Coach, thank you very much for your time, and good luck this coming weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped.
That's Monte Coleman, head coach at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Again, his team fell to Jackson State last Saturday, and this weekend they will play at Prairie View, and the kickoff is set for 1 p.m. this weekend. Next up on the call, we will go to Grambling State University. Grambling defeated Mississippi Valley State for their homecoming. And here in Week 9, the team is idled. And we will talk things over now.
Conference recording started.
Broderick, Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State. Good morning, Coach Fobbs. Welcome along.
Good morning. How you doing?
Just fine, Coach. Thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about your victory against Mississippi Valley, and I guess a well-needed week off for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's been rather long. When you haven't had a weekend off since August, the 7th. So it's good that we do get this opportunity to kind of get some guys healthy and lick our wounds, so to speak, and then not only that, but also continue to work on some things fundamentally so we can be prepared for this final stretch.
All right, the floor is now open for Broderick Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State. Coach, what are your takeaways from this past weekend's victory over Mississippi Valley?
I thought it was a rather wet game. But it was something that I thought we really needed. We I thought we were able to run the football effectively, with over 300 yards rushing, and then they also have another 260 passing is always good and refreshing. So it was good to do that, and it was good to make some plays and really get out there and get things going in front of our home crowd for homecoming. So we're pleased to come away with the victory. My hat's off as always to Coach Comegy, because I've always, thought the world of him as a football coach, a football mind, and he's got a young ball club. But one thing about him and his team, they're going to continue to fight and continue to play and continue to battle this whole thing through. That's just the type of person he is, and I'm pretty sure he's instilled that into his kids. But we're fortunate to come away with the victory. We're fortunate to be, in charge of our own destiny at this particular time. But for us, it's about getting better this week so we can be prepared for next week and just take one hurdle at a time.
Coach Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page. The last couple of games, your quarterback hadn't put up the kind of numbers that he had earlier. I know we in the media used to seeing them put up the 300 kind of yards per game or something close to that. Is that defenses reacting to the kind of numbers he's putting up, or have you had to switch up in terms of how you're attacking teams?
No, I think it speaks volumes to the coaching in this particular conference. I mean, these guys have been around. They've coached a lot of football, and they understand, what to do against different guys. And yes, we've had to make some adjustments as well, and we've also, dedicated ourselves to running the football and becoming a balanced team also. So. I think, a lot of it has to do with, with the type of coaches that we have in this league. We have a lot of quality coaches in this league and quality players that are doing a really good job.
Has that kind of helped your running game? They're trying to take away some of those things. Does that help you get the running game going?
I think it does to a certain extent from time to time, because when you have someone like Jonathan who's effective with his legs and with his arm, you try to take away a team's strength, and I think it has helped us a little bit. But I also think that we've done a really good job of focusing on being a balanced team and focusing on steps and making sure that our eyes are in the right place so that we're effectively blocking and being able to open up holes for our runners.
Talk a little bit about Jonathan in terms of is he the kind of guy that would be affected by this, or is he all in terms of the team game, not really worried about those stats?
No, it's not. It's never been about stats with Jonathan. I think we have to remember that he was the guy that started out third string and he never wavered and was always a team player and was coaching from the sideline. That's just the type of person he is, and I think we have a series of guys that are like that. They understand that, it's about, what's best for the team, not what's best just for them.
I know you don't cast your vote now, Coach, but who would you cast a vote for, if you would, for the Offensive Player of the Year so far in the SWAC?
I would have to put a little bit more thought into it, than I am right now. Basically, my response is probably reaction right now, but at this particular time, I would probably lean towards Jonathan, but there's a lot of other guys playing great in this league, and that's merely a reaction at this particular time. I would think it would take a little bit more thought and a little bit more focus to really come up with a definite answer.
Good luck. Your week off, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you.
So you have time to take questions for Broderick Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State. Please remember to use the command * to unmute your phones for questions. Coach, 18 carries for 159 yards. He averaged nearly 10 yards per carry and had a pair of touchdowns. Justin Kelly for you guys in the victory over Mississippi Valley. Talk about his play and also the other running backs that were able to also have success Saturday.
Well, I tell you, it was good to get Justin going. This is one of his type of games. You know, he's a big bruising type of guy and has really good feet. And you know, and it was good to lean on him when you're in a climate weather like we had. You know, we have Martez, who's more of the open field slasher type of guy, but then we also have Justin, which does a really good job of getting behind his pads and running downhill. So it was good for him to have that type of day. He's a very explosive player, but more importantly, he's a team player. And it's good for him to have a good day, and it was also good to get Dre Fusilier in there, too, who's the same kind of guy. He's more of a bruiser type as well. So we're just fortunate to have those guys, and fortunate that our offensive line has done a really good job of continuing to develop so that we can be effective offensively in all phases.
Coach, how does the week adjust having an idle Saturday? You talked about it being the first time since August. What are your adjustments, and how do you prepare to get ready to get going back for the week after?
Well, we took yesterday off, and today, you know, we're treating Monday like a Sunday, and we just kind of push everything back a day. And then go from there, and then we'll take Saturday off and really focus on our opponent for next week. You know, I think more importantly is to focus on the fundamentals. You know, and I always preach scratch where it itches. So mainly, you know, we have to look at the film and look at the footage from the first 8 weeks and just kind of see what's glaring. And whatever is glaring, that's our focus in our individual periods and then also in our group periods so that we can, you know, kind of continue to put this thing together so we can be effective and play better ball. So that's the whole focus, you know, is to just try to scratch where it itches and don't reinvent the wheel. Just go back to the fundamentals of the game, you know, eyes, hands, and feet, and play where you're supposed to play and be where you're supposed to be.
You're talking about scratching where it itches. You guys are sitting 5-0 in conference play. What are the areas that you're still concerned about, or that you would like to see get improvement?
Well, I think we have to continue to get better in all phases, all three phases: offense, defense, and kicking game. I think you know, I would like to see us continue to develop in our kicking game. And become more dominant in our kicking game as well as defensively and offensively. You know, there's several areas that we see, you know, because, you know, as a coach, you know, I know all coaches have heard this saying, you know, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it. So for us, it's to try not to allow anything and try to get those guys doing exactly what we want them to do and to keep them focused.
Do I have any more questions for Broderick Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State? Coach, I had a win shy. You guys are 6-0 in the conference. My apologies there. Not to take any wins away. They're all important.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you joining us, and we look forward to talking with you on next Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped.
That was the Grambling State head coach, Broderick Fobbs. His team defeated Mississippi Valley State this past Saturday. They are idled in Week 9. Moving along now, we go to Jackson State University, who defeated Arkansas Pine Bluff, and they are all set to play in Enabita, Mississippi, and Mississippi Valley State for a kickoff that is set for 4 p.m.
Conference recording started.
We're now joined by interim head coach at Jackson State, Derrick McCall. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about your victory over Arkansas Pine Bluff and then preview the rival against Mississippi Valley.
Well, of course, we had homecoming this past weekend, and it was a great festive event, and University of Arkansas Pine Bluff came in and played a very good football game. We understand that they are young, but Coach Coleman had them ready to play. They played hard, and they gave a lot of effort. I'm just so happy for our football team. We're making some strides in the right direction. Defense played very well, and they had a great game plan, and the kids executed their game plan and did some great things on defense. And I was just proud of those guys, the way they played on defense. And offensively, we did well on offense. Jaron Marakawa, got his first start and did an outstanding job for us, and we're just proud of him. And I had all the confidence in the world that he could have come in and played well, which he did. And we're just happy for the victory for all the alumni that came down and the community here in Jackson and the fans. Had a great weekend.
Thank you very much, Coach. The floor is now open for Derrick McCall of Jackson State.
Hey, Coach, this is Antonio from the Clay and Ledger. I know a big talking point has been penalties throughout the season. Just how happy are you to look at the stat sheet and see your team only get penalized 3 times throughout the game?
Well, that was one of the primary focus concerns for us was to continue to try to be disciplined each week, and they only have 3 penalties, and that was good to see. But like I say, we're hoping to eliminate those 3 and just try to continue to be disciplined and be focused on not having penalties.
And how did it feel to get your first win as interim head coach?
Well, it's great, to be in this interim position to get your first victory, and it's a great feeling, and I'm just wishing for more.
And I saw 11 different players caught passes. Can you just speak about how Jaron kind of spread the ball around?
Well, Jaron is everything that we've been seeing in practice, and that's why I really wasn't too concerned about him. When Ivy went down, that he would step in and do a great job. He's very poised in the pocket, and he goes through his progression, and he spreads the ball around. He did a great job for us. Hitting 11 different receivers. I think he was something like 25 out of 40 for 333 yards and 3 touchdowns. And, that was an awesome job from him. And we just, expecting him to come in this week and prepare for our next ball game the same way.
And did you notice him kind of settle down with more game reps that he got?
Can you repeat that, please?
Did you feel like he settled down as soon as he got kind of more game reps?
Oh yeah. I talked to him before the game, and he was calm and ready to play. Of course, he was anxious to get out there and to get his first snap. And I think as the game went along, the more confident he became, and I think the offensive line did an excellent job, protecting him and giving him an opportunity to go through his progressions and make the reads necessary to get the ball out of his hand.
Still got time left in the segment for Derrick McCall, Jackson State University, taking your questions. Coach, was it pleasing to see another wide receiver alongside Dan Williams to step up and make plays for you guys? And speaking specifically about Fosselman's play.
Oh, yes. You know what? I'm so excited for Devin Fosselman. Devin Fosselman is a leader of this football team, and he works extremely hard, and I'm just so happy to see him have the career day he had. 6 catches for 176 yards and 3 touchdowns, and I do understand that he's been named SWAC Player of the Week, and I'm just so happy for him. All the hard work that he's been putting in since he's been here, is really paying off for him. So I'm very excited and happy for Devin Fosselman.
In terms of the execution working so well for him, was that something your quarterback was seeing in terms of him being open so many times with so many targets? Just talk about how he was able to catch so many balls and find the end zone 3 times.
Well, we sort of changed some things around in our offense, maybe to fit these guys' skill level, and it's one of the things that, he's a tremendous slot player that can read coverages and know how to get to the open area, and he do a great job of doing that. He's a student of the game. He studied a lot of film, and have a lot of suggestions as to will probably be a great coach one day, the way he studies the ball game and everything, so we're just trying to put the ball in our playmakers' hands. That's one of the main focuses that we've been focusing on since I got in the seat, to try to get the ball in our playmakers' hand, and he's definitely one of them.
Any more questions for Derrick McCall at Jackson State? And so, Coach, what do you do after getting a victory here? What do you do to avoid your team getting a letdown and as you travel to Mississippi Valley this past weekend?
Oh, well, they understand the severity of this week's game, and of course, it has so many implications. A state rival game against Mississippi Valley State, and also our former head coach here, who I have the utmost respect for, and who has personally helped me in so many ways, and it was a lot of firsts for me. He was responsible for bringing me to Jackson State and making me a coordinator while I was here, and I'm so appreciative for all that he has done for me. But I know Rick Comegy very well, and genius in terms of defensive schemes, and he has gone against some of the players that he has coached before, and being a part of that and seeing that, he'll try to rip your heart out, and we do understand that. He'll give it back to you, though, by the way, but. Our guys understand that we have to go down the valley and be ready to play a very tough football game. And I know Coach Comegy will have those guys ready to play.
Do you have any more questions for Derrick McCall at Jackson State? Coach, thank you very much for your time, and good luck this coming Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped.
That's Derrick McCall, head coach at Jackson State University, whose team defeated Arkansas Pine Bluff. They are in Itabena, Mississippi for a 4 p.m. kickoff this weekend at Mississippi Valley State. Speaking of Mississippi Valley State, we'll stay right there in the state.
Conference recording started.
The Delta Delvers were defeated by Grambling State this past weekend, and again, they are set to host Jackson State, 4 p.m. kickoff. Good morning, Rick Comegy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. It was a very tough one. I'll let you know Grambling's a
everything people think they are. They play good, solid football, and very tough up front, and got some real good backs and receivers that can go get it and make it happen for him. He's got a real fine football team. Going into the game, I felt good about going into the game. It was a rainy, muddy day, and I thought that would be to our advantage a little bit, to cut down on some of their overall speed, and I think it did. They had some turnovers. It was 7-0 in the at the end of the first quarter, and I felt really good about it. And even when they scored again, we were still, and we came down and we got a score in, and I felt that we was going to make a game out of it, because of the way the field conditions was and the rain and different things like that. They were making turnovers. I think they had 6 or 7 turnovers, so did we. We had some interceptions. They had some. And so, it was one of those type of games. But they got great talent, and, they took the lead and never looked back. They just did a fantastic job. And I give Coach all the credit in the world, his team. When we thought they might have been overlooking us and we thought we'd sneak up on them, at first they looked like they weren't ready early, but then after they got going, their motor started running, their enthusiasm picked up, and he just took it to us up front, and they beat us. And there's nothing too much you can say about it. That on that particular day, they came out and just had a better football team than we did, and used their talent level to expose some of the things that we were trying to do. And I give them a lot of credit for it.
All right, the floor is now open for Rick Comegy, head coach at Mississippi Valley State.
Hey, Coach, this is Antonio from the Clarion Ledger. Has your opinion or anything, or your feelings of the game changed at all since you watched film?
No, it hasn't. I was glad to see that we ran on them a little bit. I think we might have been one of the few teams that were able to run on them. We kind of caught them off guard with a few things, and our young man Stokes, I think he had a real good day. I was pleased to see that, and I was pleased to see some of our young receivers like Trey Sims go up and grab a nice touchdown and things of that nature. We dropped a couple, what they did too, but we dropped a couple points that we thought we should have had, but it was it's football. It's going to be, you can't sit back and worry about it now. It happened, and so I just thought it could have been a better game, but it just wasn't. It wasn't in our favor. And after they jumped out, in front, it showed the same. We were poor tackling day. We just didn't tackle well, and in open field tackles when they got through the line of scrimmage, our back chamber just didn't make the hits for us that we could have just to stop the touchdowns. And we lost contain a couple of times and let the quarterback get outside and run in on us. And we're young up front, and we're trying to teach it. We're trying to work and review to review, but it's just happening to us right now at this moment. And so we just got to continue working to get better, and that's all we can do. This is our team. This is what we got, and we got to level them up, and and hope they can come out to the shoot, the next week.
And do you kind of want to see Thurston kind of pull the trigger and get rid of the ball a little bit quicker on some plays?
Well, he's doing that, but Thurston right now, we got to try to find a way to maybe move him around a little bit, get him out the pocket. But he's a smart quarterback. He's very, very bright, intelligent. We don't have to cut the package down for him because he sees the field. He knows where to go to. We want to make him our quarterback, but he's making some mistakes. He's trying to, throw a ball in there where trying tight coverage, and they're just running, taking it from him. So he's got to be able to go to the open man, go to his back and things of that nature, but he's trying to squeeze things in, which is hurting him, and sometimes the ball is bouncing off the receivers and causing interceptions. But they got an excellent back chamber, probably one of the best back chambers I've seen this year. They come up, those safeties come up and they do a good job. You think you got somebody open and they close on them real fast, and so we just have to keep working, and our young kids got to understand and be able to read and see those type of things and play against those top ball players. And that's what we're working on every day, trying to get us better, and I'm glad the competition is as high as it is that we've seen, because it makes our team better.
And Coach McCall was just on the conference call before, you talking about what it's going to be like to coach against you. You brought him over to Jackson State. Just what's it going to be like for you coaching against him?
Well, Coach McCall and myself, we've been together a long time. I consider him a real close friend, and I know he loves the game. I know that he
is excited. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for, him. I don't think a better person they could have chosen to step up and take the reins at this point. He's a guy that will love the team. He's a guy that's going to motivate them and give them the things what they need. Is going to give them that, that feeder of love that they'll come out and want to perform for him. And he's going to work. He's not going to sit back. He's not going to let anything go. He's going to dot all of his I's and cross his T's. And I'm excited about it. I'm happy for him and his family. And I'm hoping that it turns out to be an exciting game that people can get their money's worth. And I know he wants to come out with a win as well as I. And so, I think it's going to be a game to see. And I think people should come and enjoy this one.
And I know you coached you beat Jackson State last year, but just what did it feel like to coach against a bunch of kids you recruited?
Well, I think as I mentioned earlier to another reporter that asked me, a lot of this team that they recruited, and they got a lot of junior college transfers. They got somewhat of a new class in there. I know a few of them still, like Danny Williams and Ivy and guys like that, and probably know quite more the running backs, and I know them, but they got a host of guys that are brand new that makes up the makeup of their team. And so, it's not, right now, you can only, I can only deal with the guys I'm dealing with at this point, trying to get them the success that they need to get where they need to be, work for our community, to make our community proud, to make our school proud, to do what we're doing, to try to make the best of the situation that we have going here. My love and heart would always, share with, them, but, this is where I domain at this point, and I want to make this area here proud along the Delta, that we can play football in this Delta and continue and fight just as hard as any other university. We're young, but yet and still, I think there's going to come a time where the Delta will be recognized.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Broderick, Fobbs had some really nice things to say about you in terms of respecting what you've done for this league and just college football in general. Your thoughts on the job that he's done at Grambling?
Oh, he's done a fantastic job. He's come in there and got a hold of some kids, and and he's went out and got some talent. And I don't think it all was there, but it was. But he went out and got some great talent, and those guys are playing football. That quarterback's doing a great job for him. He's young. And those backs are running hard. That line is blocking, and that defense is swirling and doing. They're playing comfortable football. They're playing real confident football. Let me put it that way. They know where they're going. They know what they want to do. They know what they want to establish. Where we're kind of still in that quasi situation. I can't wait to get to that level to where the confident level is that high that they go out there knowing what they're going to do, know where they got to be, and things of that nature. And they're playing that type of football. It's fun for them. They're playing good, fun football, and I think the kids are having fun. I think while we're trying to win games right now, they're having fun out there making it happen. And for him to bring that there, I think it's just excellent. That he's managed to bring that fun back to that situation down there, and that's how I think he's happy himself. I think I see him come across the field. He looks good, looks happy, and I can see why.
Do you have any more questions for Rick Comegy, head coach at Grambling State? Coach, thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to talking with you on next week.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped.
It's Mississippi Valley State head coach Rick Comegy, whose team will host Jackson State at 4 p.m. this coming Saturday. Next up on the call.
Conference recording started.
Talk things over with Prairie View A&M head coach Willie Simmons. The Panthers were idled in Week 8, and they are set to host Arkansas Pine Bluff at 1 p.m. this Saturday. Good morning, Coach Simmons.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Just fine, Coach. Thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about the things you guys worked on during your bye week and preview your home game against Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yes, sir. During the bye week, we got a chance to first rest our guys. We went 7 straight weeks, and even though statistically the University of Faith game didn't count, we still played the game. So we went 7 straight weeks, and guys were understandably pretty beat up physically, after 7-week schedule. So gave us a chance to rest some of our guys. We were able to work on some things that, had gotten us in trouble prior weeks. So hopefully we got some of those issues ironed out to get better at some details, and gave us a chance to hit the road and recruit a little bit. So, we think we made the most of the time off, and we were able to come back this week to get ready for a Pine Bluff team that's going to come here hungry to get a win.
All right, the floor is now open for Willie Simmons, head coach at Prairie View A&M. Coach, can you describe a time when you've been in a situation like this? You got your team playing pretty well, and you're facing a team, on the other hand, that's had its struggles. How do you avoid that letdown, per se, this coming weekend?
Well, I think the important thing to remember is that, they're going to bring a football team down here that's going to be ready to play. Coach Coleman has done a phenomenal job, over the years with that program. And so, our guys can't look at records and say, they've only won one game or something and think that they're going to come in here and lay down, because they're not. We have to understand that every week's a chance to compete. And like old coaches tell us, a competitor loves to compete. So regardless of who the competition is, what the situation is, you got to go out there and play. And our job is to get better every week, to win all of our home games. We still want to defend our home turf, playing in front of our crowd. So we still have that at stake. We still are in the thick of the Western Division race, even though we still need some help, but we're still in the thick of it. So we have enough motivation to go out there and play good football, and that's something that we try to pride ourselves on. Of every chance we get to take the field, we want to put a good product out there. It doesn't matter, again, the situation or the opponent. It's about us and what we do on a week-to-week basis. So we've had a bye week to get recharged and refreshed. And, it's a good 4-game stretch that we have left to try to put ourselves in position to have a chance in the end, and it starts this week.
What have you noticed about Arkansas Pine Bluff, Coach, or have you had time to look at them on film yet?
Yes, we watched them, and they've had some games where it's kind of gotten away from them early, giving up some early scores in a few games, which has kind of gotten them behind the 8 ball and made it tough for them to dig themselves out of a hole. But they've had some close games as well, and so when they keep it a 4-quarter ball game, they have a chance. They play a lot better when it's a close game. Like I said, they dug themselves in some holes with a few games. Where it's kind of got out of hand early. So, I'm sure Coach Coleman has talked to them about not shooting themselves in the foot and not beating themselves early. But they're a team that, they still try to play hard. They do a lot of different things up front. I think Coach Coleman's always prided himself on being a defense that lines up and comes right at you. They're not going to give you a ton of different looks. They're going to try to be fundamentally sound and make you execute, And so for us, that's a challenge to us this week, to execute at a high level and don't give them anything cheap. So, but again, Coach Coleman over the years has done a really good job with that program, him running the defense. Like I said, giving them a scheme that they can execute and fly around, and he's got some new guys in some places that are starting to adjust. Looks like they're adjusting to the system a little bit better than early in the season. So, like I said, I fully expect a well-coached, hard-playing football team to come in here on Saturday.
Still got time for questions for Willie Simmons, head coach at Prairie View A&M. So, Coach, as you've gone through your week off and you resume play here this coming Saturday, talk about some of the things that you guys focused on, and what would you like to see improved this coming Saturday?
Just clean up a lot of fundamental things, especially in the kicking game. I mean, we played better special teams the last few weeks, but we did give up a kick return for a touchdown in our last competition against Southern. So just solidifying some of those mishaps and things of that nature, and defensively, just again communicating a lot better with different personnel groupings. A couple of times Southern got us out gap where we didn't have enough guys at the point of attack. So just formation adjustments and basic communication on that side of the ball, and then offensively, working our tempo. Trying to play a lot faster, getting plays in quicker, and getting guys to kind of understand when we want to go really, really fast, and to try to anticipate that happening, so that we don't have to wait for the signal, but for them to kind of get in their mind when we're going fast. So just really, like I said, people still tend to forget that we didn't have spring practice. So a lot of the fundamental things that you cover are the basics that you cover in spring practice we didn't get. And this was our first bye week, so this was kind of a mini spring practice for us to get some of those things corrected. And then we also got, we did a young freshman scrimmage, so we got the young guys, the redshirt guys that hadn't played a lot. We let them get some live reps. So it was good to see some of those guys get in and play and make some plays. So they've been on scout team for us all year, or in backup roles that hadn't played a lot of snaps. So again, we think we made the most of the bye week, and hopefully we can come back, like I say, re-energized, ready to finish out the month of November.
So the last 2 weeks in college football, we've seen some games decided by mishaps on special teams, and you said that was something you guys are working on. How vital is it to have not only your special teams, but just your kicking game intact when you're in the situation that you guys are in right now and really competing for this Western Division?
Oh, I mean, it's paramount. The one thing with special teams we've seen, not just the last couple of weeks, but you've really seen throughout college football and professionally, it's so vital because the game can swing so quickly. That's the important thing for guys to remember about special teams is that, one mishap can cost you a touchdown. If you get an extra point block, a field goal block, or a punt block, or give up a big return, I mean, those are instant points. So, special no offensive or defensive snap changes the field as much as a special teams play. No offensive or defensive snap can something bad can happen so quickly as a special teams play. So you definitely have to make sure you invest enough time in doing it. You have to put your team in positions and in situations where they can understand what to do in those situations. I mean, of course, I'm a Florida State fan growing up, 20 miles from the university. And, when the kick was blocked, a lot of guys were kind of just standing there because it's the last kick of the game, and they figured either we're going to make it and win the game or miss it and go into overtime. So a lot of the guys didn't cover the kick. Well, that's something that every team practices. A long field goal, you kick and you cover. And, of course, we saw the same thing with Auburn and Alabama a few years ago that, you got to cover that kick. And, of course, so those situations there, you try to put them, you try to simulate it and tell them as much. You don't get as much time to practice it. So you have to hopefully hope that your guys have some carryover in their minds that they can remember that stuff. I mean, Southern, we had a huge turning point in the Southern game, but they blocked a field goal for us, and the ball went past the line of scrimmage, and their guys tried to recover it, instead of letting it roll around and them get the ball 1st and 10. So situations like that can change the outcome of a game. And so it's very vital for us every day to practice special teams. We practice at least 2 phases every day. And we try to make sure that we give our guys enough full-time, full-speed reps that when the game comes, that they're prepared for any situation that might happen.
Any more questions for Willie Simmons, head coach at Prairie View A&M?
Coach Simmons, this is James Verrett from Cox Sports Television in Louisiana. How you doing?
Hey, James. How you doing?
Doing good. 2 questions. Number 1, how good is Willie Quinn as a return man? And number 2, at this level of football, is it impossible to recruit players just for special teams?
First of all, Willie Quinn is good a returner as I think anybody in the country. I mean, he has a knack for just, as you can see, I think the thing Saturday was his fourth kick return for a touchdown. So he also has a knack for getting to the end zone. The one thing I think those guys take great pride in blocking for Willie Quinn as well. That's something that I challenged our team on because we have a very dynamic returner in Jonathan Asbury as well. But when you watch Southern on film, you see their front line and their up back take pride in blocking their guys because they feel that Willie Quinn's going to score every time he gets it. So I tip my hat to them and what they do, and Quinn's a really good player. The second question, I don't think even the big levels recruit guys specifically for special teams. I think maybe the NFL is the only league that can do that. For us, with 25 scholarships or 30 at our level, I mean, you have to try to sign the best players that you can. Now, if they're good on special teams, that's a plus because now you're signing a running back who's also a kick returner, punt returner. You're signing a receiver or a defensive back who's also a kick returner, punt returner. You're signing a linebacker who is going to be on kickoff coverage and punt and things of that nature. So I don't think anybody really recruits guys specifically for special teams. I think if you're a great special teams player and you take pride in playing special teams, that's always an added bonus. So we try to sign the best players possible and with the hopes that we can find, 11 guys on each phase that really care, that take pride in being special teams players and that are unselfish because that's what it takes to be a good team. You have to have a bunch of unselfish guys who are willing to play every snap on special teams.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. Good luck this coming Saturday, and we appreciate you joining us today.
No problem, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped.
Willie Simmons, head coach at Prairie View A&M. His team will host Arkansas Pine Bluff, 1 p.m. kickoff this Saturday. We now head to Southern University.
Conference recording started.
And the Southern University Jaguars defeated Texas Southern on the road this past weekend, and now they will come back to Baton Rouge and host Alcorn State for a 4 p.m. kickoff. Good morning, Coach Dawson Odums. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
No problem, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about your road win in Houston and talk about coming back home and hosting Alcorn State.
Well, we had to go on the road and, had to fight off some elements, played in, a lot of rain. Had to just move the kickoff time up, but, I really thought that the focus was there. We took a tough loss at home for homecoming, and you had to regroup. And I thought the guys came out in the first half and really was locked into what we needed to do and really executed other than, we had a punt block and then we dropped the punt return and, just got to be smart on special teams. And if we do those things, we're continuing to get better. And you got to be getting better going down the stretch. And, I thought we went in and played and executed at a high level. I thought offensively, in the second half, I thought we played as good a half of football that we played all year. And I want to continue, hope we can continue that momentum going forward. But really thought the guys were locked in coming off a loss. We come home, you still got a chance, getting ready to take on, one of the better teams in our conference. Alcorn's having another good year. Coach Hopson's doing a great job up there. Those guys are coming here. They'll be fired up. They're coming off a bye week. So, and he's having another great year, so they're running the ball, throwing the ball, playing great defense, and, they're tough out, and we're going to have to be mentally ready to go and probably got to play the best football we played all year in order to have a chance against them.
All right, the floor is now open for Dawson Odums, head coach at Southern University.
Coach, this is James Verrett from Cox Sports Television. How you doing?
Doing great.
It's been a while since your team has defeated Alcorn. When you look back at it, is it a mental block that your team has to overcome in order to put themselves in a position to defeat the Braves?
Well, I think you got to play well. I think you got to execute, and that's really what it comes down to. And if you do those things, you got a chance in a football game. When you don't do those things, you have no chance. They're good at what they do. They execute at a high level, and we gotta match that. And I think if we can execute and not shoot ourselves in the foot and just play sound football and execute, I think that's what it comes down to.
When you look at your defensive performance this past week, is that the best run defense you've seen since you've been at Southern?
Oh, yes. I thought we defended it very well Saturday. And really, I think all year we've been pretty good against the run. And, I think you got to be able to stop the run if you go play good defense. And, we focus on it, and we're going to be challenged. I think this is one of the top rushing teams in our conference. And, you got to get ready to play. And I was proud of the way we played Saturday. I thought we got better coming off of, a not-so-good performance the week before. So at least it shows us that our guys are able to put losses behind them and move forward and regroup. And, now we got to continue the momentum.
When you look at the performance of Daniel Brown, what makes him a good defender? Is it his hands, his feet, or just his effort?
He missed all last year. He's a senior. And they know we're getting close to the finish line. So, you don't know if you're going to have any more snaps left. So you got to play with the right motivation and come out there with the right energy and excitement and passion. And he has all that. He displays all that when he's on the field. And he has a heart and a motor. And when he's playing full speed and in control of his enthusiasm, he's as good as anybody in the conference to watch. And we're just happy that, we get into that late part of the season and he started taking strides to become a dominant football player.
Okay. Is Tiller reaping the benefits of everybody focusing in on Brown?
I just think he's another guy that plays hard, man. These guys play a lot of snaps for us, and they're finally gaining the confidence in playing the way we need them to play in order to be successful. And they're tough, man. They're tough edge guys, and we do a lot of movement with those guys, so you never know where they're going to come from. So, they get the one-on-one, and it's in their favor. They're able to get home, and we play a lot of D linemen. We try to keep them fresh, and we roll a lot of guys in and out. But I just think that they're good one-on-one. So they're explosive football players that understand how to get out to the quarterback.
Okay. When you look at Alcorn, some people would say, automatically just go after the football and you can win because they do turn the ball over so much. Is that the wrong approach when you're going up against a quarterback like Gibbs, who is so physically intimidating with his size and speed?
Well, I think every team has their own approach, and our deal is play fundamentally sound football and try to keep the ball in front of us and tackle it. And I think if you can do those things, you like your position in the football game. He's a talented individual, and it starts with him. And he's been good since he's been there, and they also playing well this year. So no matter what plan you have, they're a tough challenge for anybody. But you gotta have the right will, and you come with the right effort in order to have a chance against them.
Hey, Coach Odums, how you doing?
Doing great.
This is Charles Edmond calling from WPRL. You talked about quarterback John Gibbs. Talk about the Braves' backfield led by Darian Ragsdale and Aaron Baker.
Well, two of the better backs in the conference. They run downhill. They square their shoulders up. They're powerful runners, and they're going to test us. And you got to wrap up, and they're going to test you physically. And the offensive line do a great job and open up holes, and those guys have great vision at finding those holes. So, it's going to be a tall order. They're a talented football team. We go get a chance to kick off and see how it unfolds.
Any more questions for Dawson Odums, head coach at Southern University?
Talk about the Braves defense, if you will, Coach. Over 20 sacks coming in, pretty aggressive up front, and 3 picks in the last couple of games. Just talk about the Braves defense.
Well, I know the coordinator very well. Do a great job. Tony P is those guys playing at a and they're executing. That's what you want to see when you look at film is execution. When you watch those guys, they know where they're supposed to be. They do a great job of executing, and that's allowing them to make more plays, and that's what it's all about. They fly around, they create some havoc, they bring pressure, they play zone, they got a good mixture of what they're trying to do. So, it'll be tough for us offensively. We haven't been able to figure these guys out, and been able to score points on everybody but them. So, we'll see Saturday how this thing unfolds.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. Good luck this coming Saturday.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks a lot. It's Dawson, Odums, head coach at Southern University. They're set to host Alcorn State at 4 p.m. Our last call of the day, we'll go to Houston, Texas, and we'll talk things over with Texas Southern University now.
Conference recording started.
Texas Southern was defeated at home against Southern University and set to host College of Faith at 1 p.m. this coming Saturday. Good morning, Coach Darrell Asbury. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Coach Asbury.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about this past Saturday and preview your home game this coming Saturday.
Well, I thought we got off to a pretty good start. Our guys came out and we matched the intensity early and went in at halftime 21-21. We knew the weather was going to get bad, and at the end of the day, it just like I told the guys in the locker room, it's going to come down to turnovers the second half, and who can run the football and who cannot run the ball, and they did a great job running the football, and we didn't, and they ended up getting the victory on us.
All right, the floor is now open for Darrell Asbury, head coach at Texas Southern. Coach, the open.
Coach
Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Coach Asbury, this is James Verrett from Cox Sports Television. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, James?
Doing good. Looking at the performance of Willie Quinn, is it as easy or difficult just not to kick to him, or the way that Southern schemes their return, you either got to kick it out of bounds or kick it directly to him?
Well, I think Willie Quinn is one of the top returners in the country, not just HBCU football. He's a tremendous athlete, and they do a great job of setting his returns up for him. But, it's once he gets the football in his hand, and the young man is very electrifying with the football, and they have a special weapon there, and they do a great job of getting him in position to make the plays.
Coach, once you had the game tied there in the second quarter, what was the thought process, and how was the team feeling about themselves at that point and that stage in the game?
Well, going in, once we tied it up, we felt we had an opportunity. And going in at halftime, we felt pretty good coming back out. The guys felt good. We knew we just couldn't afford to turn the football over and give their offense a short field. And for whatever reason, we went down and they created a turnover, and that kind of set the tone from there with them. I felt we had another opportunity. We missed a couple opportunities with some guys running wide open before the weather got real bad, and we just didn't hit our guys. And like I told the guys at halftime, Southern's a championship team. They've been in that situation before. We're a young team that's trying to learn how to get to that point. But when you're going against a team like that has been in championships after championship games, you can't afford to make those mistakes down the stretch. And, we made those mistakes, and we just need to learn from that and get better and move on.
And with you hosting College of Faith this coming Saturday, Coach, what are some of the things you'd like to focus on?
Well, just, getting back, just trying to run the football. If the weather's dry, whatever, we know we can throw the football around with the best of the schools, but we need to focus on running the football, getting the ball, our ground game going, because we're going to face that kind of weather again at some point in time. We need to be able to run the football.